So I saw Jordan Peele's new film Us at the world premiere, and dude, it's a mindfuck. My colleagues and I have been debating the themes, the symbolism, and simply trying to make sense of everything that went down in Santa Cruz. And I'm already giving things away. So, warning, this video contains spoilers for Jordan Peele's new film Us. We are getting into a full-on discussion about the ending. Proceed accordingly. Okay, I'm gonna do my best here, but first go ahead and hit subscribe, it surely would mean a lot. So we learn early on in the film that Adelaide, played by Lupita Nyong'o, experiences something that changes her forever when she was just a young girl. She wandered off from her parents and ended up at a funhouse on the beach in Santa Cruz, California, where she encountered what seems to be an exact replica of herself. When we spoke to the cast, they referred to these people as their doppelgangers. As you see in the trailer, everyone has a corresponding doppelganger. Adelaide becomes quiet and reserved, her parents put her in therapy. Eventually, she returns back to somewhat normal through the physical, mental, and social elements of dates. Fast forward to adulthood, Adelaide has a husband, Gabe, and two kids, Zora and Jason. They return to Santa Cruz on vacation, and Adelaide seems super uneasy. She explains to Gabe that ever since she was a kid, she feels like the little girl from the funhouse is out to get her. And this turns out to be true. Just as she's convincing Gabe to leave Santa Cruz, her doppelganger shows up, as well as the doppelgangers corresponding to her family, and begin to terrorize them. Cuff them, hurt them, hunt them, but mostly just scare the shit out of them. Adelaide's doppelganger loosely explains that their lives are tethered together. We can assume that the Tethered Folk live underground. At the beginning of the film, there's text explaining an unused network of tunnels currently underground in the United States. This is a real thing. And while Adelaide has been able to be happy and make her own choices, her doppelganger explains she was not given the same opportunity. They managed to break free and kill basically every doppelganger they've encountered, including those corresponding to their friends played by Elizabeth Moss and Tim Heidecker. While they're at their friend's house listening to TV news, they learn that this is an epidemic. The Tethered Folk, or doppelgangers, are emerging from the beach in Santa Cruz and getting hella murdery on everyone, wearing red jumpsuits and carrying around gold scissors. Although they have a pretty high success rate at this point, Adelaide is yet to kill her doppelganger. But when she kidnaps Adelaide's son, Jason, she tracks her down and it brings her back to that funhouse. Secret door, crazy escalator going underground, and bam, there's a whole bunker-type area with a series of rooms. Okay, now that we've recapped and gotten here, let's try to make sense of the ending. Adelaide's doppelganger tries to explain the premise, basically, in a very supervillain-esque manner. That underground bunker area is where exact replicas are kept of humans living above them, government clones, it seems. It's a hard life down there, they don't have a lot of resources, they have to eat rabbits raw, which are also clones, clearly. These people down below basically walk around living zombie-like interpretations of the lives above, mimicking their movements and interactions. It seems that it's basically a failed experiment to control the people living above, leaving the people down below to live empty, meaningless, meandering lives. Adelaide's doppelganger is particularly resentful that when they had their encounter as young girls, she didn't take her up the escalator to a better life. She explains that when the rest of the doppelgangers saw her dance, they knew she was different and knew that she could lead them into a carefully planned revolt. But she says killing Adelaide wouldn't be enough, there was a much larger plan afoot. They would wear these red jumpsuits, carry gold scissors, go up top, and get their murder on, basically. Oh, and join Hands Across America. That's right, the film opens on an old school 80s commercial for Hands Across America. We just see the whole thing play out. As the film goes on, a chain of doppelgangers holding hands across America is slowly forming. More on that later. Adelaide kills her doppelganger in an epic final battle, saves her son, and the whole family drives away to safety. At this point, it's clear that Jason is concerned by the fact that his mom took so much pleasure in killing her counterpart, and he seems a little afraid. Which is when we flash back to the big reveal of the film. Adelaide actually is the doppelganger. When she was a young girl, they switched places in that first encounter. She strangles her unconscious, takes her down the escalator, handcuffs her to a bedpost, and takes her place in the family. This is why her doppelganger was smarter than the rest of them. She was the only one that consistently spoke some attempted English, and she led the revolt. She could do so because she was an original human. Nyong'o gives a maniacal smile we've seen from doppelgangers throughout the film, really driving the point home. The final shot of the film is super wide as we see that red chain of clones holding hands as far as the eyes can see. And then the film ends. That's what happens, but also like, what, why, how, and also what? A lot of the movie will feel like it doesn't make sense because it's heavy with the symbolism and metaphors. Whereas Peele's first film, Get Out, was more of a linear story that was at least kind of grounded in reality, this film is like a wild horror fever dream, and we have to make sense of every component in the context of social issues. I will try with some of the obvious ones, but I can't nail all of them. It's pretty complex. The first and most obvious piece of symbolism to me is that they're literally creating a red line across the US. Redlining. The denial of services to a certain community based on class and race. These people literally live below us in this universe. They're lower class because we put them there. Hands Across America was a fundraising event in the 80s intended to fight homelessness, hunger, poverty, and basically just unite us all symbolically. Anytime something feels like it doesn't make sense in this frantic fever dream, we have to just assume that there's a symbolic reason for it, because Jordan's deep like that. For example, it seems like anyone could have gone up the escalator at any time, just like Adelaide's doppelganger. It's not like this is a plot hole, as if Peele is going, I didn't think of the escalator. It has to be for a reason. My assumption is that once you're told you are lower class, you will stay lower class because that's how the system is built. Then, of course, the biggest metaphor for class and race is that we're all just staring at ourselves. And when they trade places in that world, they adapt, just becoming a product of their circumstances. As Jordan Peele said to us on the red carpet, everyone is very concerned about the other, it's them. But what if the other had our face? Thus, the mirrors in the funhouse forcing us to stare at ourselves. So the biggest theme here has to be that the other is us. We are all human. We are more alike than we are not alike. Then there are some clear references to Alice in Wonderland, the rabbits, we all go mad down here. Also, the Tethered Folk refer to themselves as Americans, us, the US, like of A, and the chain that they're building almost looks like a wall separating two pieces of land. Maybe an American border wall? Come on. This is just a few explanations of the crazy pieces of symbolism in this film. At the time of this video, the film hasn't even been released. Plenty more information will come to light. Jordan Peele will probably soon do a breakdown of it all, as he did with Get Out. This is just my interpretation, and the best films are open to give it your own. So do so in the comments. Touch on things I haven't. What's a deeper meaning behind the rabbit clones? The scissors, the escalator, the fire, Gabe's old boat, this laugh. Let us know your thoughts on the film and how you made sense of the ending. Make sure to hit subscribe, and we will see you next time.